This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Kate Hagerty. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing really well. Thank you.
It's a great pleasure to connect with you. What part of the world are you in right now?
I am in Denver, Colorado, looking out at the mountains from my office.
Sounds great. Well, do tell me which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history.
So you interviewed a friend of mine, Megan Conter, and she suggested that I connect with you. But my background is that I am a life purpose guide and intuitive coach. I help people that have gotten stuck in life and are sure they're not aligned with their purpose to find out what theirs is and then what next steps to take. So those talents and Megan knowing about them, I think, is why we have crossed paths.
Well, that's awesome. Well, what are the talents you'd say you definitely hold to your core there? Is it insightfulness? Is that one of them?
Yes, I'm intuitively gifted, and there are lots of different intuitive gifts. They're kind of called together as a group, the clairs. And I have the gift, the ability to see, to hear, to know, and to feel things that other people can't. So I have 4 of those gifts, and they kick in differently depending on what I'm doing. I also spent over 30 years in corporate America, and I had that same thing happen to me, where I had a goal and a vision, and I reached a spot where all of a sudden it didn't matter. It just kind of, my interest in it dropped out. And with that came a lot of anxiety over the questions. Well, why am I here? What am I really supposed to be doing with my life? And what is my purpose? And so today I help other women that have had that happen to them.
So who do you think you learned that ability from, that ability to have those feelers open, if you would, for so many other people?
Well, I have heard that I inherited them from my grandmother on my dad's side. All of us are intuitive, but most of us don't pay attention. And those that are gifted have either, I would say, worked at strengthening it, or sometimes they're born that way. And I was always sensitive. I just didn't think anything of it. And when I was told periodically by other people that were intuitive that I was gifted, and I just really wasn't comfortable with the information at all. I really kind of shoved it to the side because I just did not see how being weird was going to help me achieve my goals. But eventually I realized it was part of achieving my goals.
So is it that in helping others, the confidence for doing what you were born to do grew?
Right. Exactly. When I was not happy with my own position in corporate America, it sent me on a plight to figure out the answers to those questions. And it took me a while, but I figured out that my purpose is to help other people find theirs, because I get how scary it is and how challenging it can be, but also how rewarding. And that the more of us that step into our purpose, the more others will see that they can too. And that ripple effect can just continue, which is pretty powerful and exciting to me.
Yeah, and then there's the boomerang effect, yeah? It comes right back, yeah? Boomerang. All right, where's the best place for someone that's listening to connect with you?
My website is called soulpurpose.biz, and that's spelled SOULPURPOSE.BIZ.
Tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Well, I resisted, but something that I've done and do every morning is I meditate, and I meditate for 20 minutes, sometimes in silence, sometimes to music. And what it allows me to do is to start my day grounded, centered, and clear, and open to the spiritual guidance that I know is there for me when I slow down enough to listen.
You definitely have to slow down, yeah? It takes a bit of slowing down given what's happening in our entire world, isn't it? It's challenging, isn't it? Everything is moving
Very
so
challenging.
fast. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, suggest to someone that's listening, suggest to someone in the amazing audience why they should do what you do by taking that time to reflect, to slow down.
Right. So the benefits of meditation are that it allows us to slow down and listen and hear from our heart. Our brain and monkey mind are chattering all along every day with all the things we need to do and all the distractions. But when we are still, we can actually hear, I would say, guidance from our guardian angels and guides. We'll get encouragement. We'll have ahas. We'll have ideas. And so meditation is very beneficial for that you can start out your day calm and clear and open to the gifts that are waiting to come through to you through your heart.
Love it. Amazing audience. Again, you're hearing it live from Kate Hagerty. You can connect with her. Now, when Kate says her name, it sounds a bit different when she says Hagerty. Could you say Hagerty for me? I loved it, actually.
You've done a beautiful job, but it's Kate Hagerty.
You see, there's a difference with the E. And you can connect with her at soulpurpose.biz. Kate, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Kate, what's your earliest childhood memory?
I am a twin, and so it would probably have something to do with sharing the bed with my brother. But what comes to mind, I see a picture of my brother and my sister and I, so the three of us, we lived in a house, and on the outside of the porch, there were three little cubby holes that were kind of made out of brick, and there was an opening in each one. And I remember each of us squishing ourselves into one of them, and so we were a stack of three, and my parents taking a picture of it. And it's a very vivid memory, so that definitely comes to mind first.
Ooh. Why do you think it's so clear?
I think it was significant because we were close in age, and 5 years later, my brother showed up. So it was a different time where we were close and kind of running around, the three of us, getting into mischief and just enjoying our yard. I'm not sure, but I just think it was our bond that was going on at that time.
All right. How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
That I know that our relationships are significant and that family are the only ones that share all the memories with you from that time in your life, and that sometimes we can remember them differently, but they're the ones that have the history. And there's comfort in that. And my mom will always tease us, and she did when we would fight, that these are the faces that will end up around your hospital bed in the end. So make sure that you appreciate each other. And it's nice to be able to go and reach out to people and ask, not people, but my siblings, and ask them what their recollection was.
Yeah, definitely do that. I think it's a great idea. So explain to me the hole. What's that? You said what? Cubby hole?
Oh, a cubby hole. So when you build a brick structure, sometimes they'll leave, like say you were leaving space for a window, but you didn't fill in the window. So they had in our house off to the side of the porch, this like tower of these three brick openings. And they're pretty small, but each of us squished ourselves in there, kind of crossing our legs and ducking down. And it's a very funny picture.
So it's like you're in a window space, but
yes,
it's filled by these three humans.
And stacked. So not normal windows.
Stacked.
It's like stacked vertically.
Interesting. All right. I'll leave it alone. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll get to know you a bit better, and we'll see how that goes with that. So I'd love to see the picture. Yeah, let me see the picture, please, at some point in time. Yeah,
I will see if I can find it. Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
I was a big fan of Elton John. And I lived next door to a gal who was my best friend and came from 10 kids. So she was the youngest, and they had all the albums that you can imagine. And so I remember playing Elderberry Wine on the albums yes. in her bedroom and dancing around and just it being pure joy and freedom.
Love it. All right, Kate. Well, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Kate, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not yet.
Are you married?
No.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Ooh. So phone and computer combined?
Yes.
It's darn close if it's not 8.
All right. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Kate Hagerty, what would you say that is?
What comes to mind is something that I share with my clients because usually we're on a journey. And that statement is, there's no way through but through.
Just like the window, right? Or what? Yeah.
When we have challenges, sometimes we want to just stop or take a detour. I've had times in my life where I've had things that I've tried to outrun. So I would just talk about it like it'd be behind me and I'd be trying to outrun it. Then it'd be next to me and then it'd be in front of me. And that there's no way through but through. Like you've just got to go through what is there for you in order to come out the other side.
Love it. My friend, this was such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
That you should believe that you are born with unique gifts and talents. All of us have been, and that you brought them to the world, and only you can bring them the way that you do. And the people that you came here to help are waiting for you.
I love that. I think this podcast is statistical data of what you just said is true. Kate Hagerty, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.